next year, and I've been a previous area director twice. I'm going to be the facilitator this evening, and we've got a really great group of panelists that I'll be asking some really empowering questions to, because the purpose of the Area Director Expo is to share the wisdom and knowledge that we've got if we've previously done this role, so we can motivate and really inspire people to say yes, because we've all said yes, because this is why we're here tonight. And that is something that I'm hoping by the end of this, we've empowered more people to go, yes, we will be area directors for the next year. Where I haven't got your introductions, if I just go around the panelists just to give a brief 2-minute introduction, just so we know a little bit about you, that would be super helpful. I'm going to come to Jan first. Jan, did you just want to give a brief introduction of who you are, where you're from? That would be amazing.
Aloha, everyone. As you can see from my background here, I'm from the islands, specifically from the island of Maui. I joined Toastmasters during COVID, September 2020. I didn't realize how much I missed out when I constantly said no to my girlfriend who asked me to be part of Toastmasters until COVID happened and I was going insane. Cabin fever set in. And then my girlfriend says, hey, Toastmasters, meet virtually. You don't need to go and fight traffic. That's how I got into Toastmasters. 3 years later, I got my DTM, and I've been invited last year to be an area director. And I still am an area director until June 30th of this year. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm here to learn as well. Back to you, Natalie.
Thank you, Jan. Perfect. This is why we're all here. We're here to learn. We're here to encourage those new people to stand up and continue their leadership journey. I'm going to come to Linda next. Linda, did you want to just give a brief introduction of who you are?
Hi there, Guy. So Linda Denton, I'm a DTM, been with Toastmasters since June 2011. And I'm just ending my reign as area director. And I received the Area Director of the Year award and a whole bunch of other awards that aren't important right now. So thank you for letting me introduce myself.
Perfect, thank you. And finally, Inotes, if you wanted to introduce yourself as well.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ionuț Breb. The way you remember my name is thinking about your notes. If you say your notes, that's exactly how you pronounce my name. People in Toastmasters know me by John as well, but I have been associated with Toastmasters for a little over 11 years now. I do not have a DTM. I was this close to getting one on the old educational system, and then poof, it vanished. And then I started on Pathways a couple of years ago. However, I am currently the Area E2 director in Founders District, which oversees clubs in Dana Point, San Clemente, San Juan, and that's about it. And I am also the Program Quality Director-elect for Founders District for the upcoming year. And I'm looking forward to see people take charge of their development, and the success of their clubs.
Fabulous, thank you. So as you can see, we've got an exceptional group of panelists for our event today. And my plan is to ask them plenty of questions. You are going to be there and you are going to be writing so many notes, you will need a new notebook at the end of this. So that is your little hint. If you haven't got a pen, go and get a pen, because between these 3 amazing panelists, you're going to learn so much that will help you on your next journey. So what I've got 5 questions that I'm going to ask all of you, if time permits. I'll give the 1 question and then we'll just go round as a group of 3, and then we'll move on to the second question. The questions that I've got are more focused on you as the area director, about what you have learned over the last year. So my first question, and I'm going to come to how you are on my screen. So it's going to be for Jan, but the same question. What skills have you developed over this year as an area director?
One of the skills that I've developed and continue to is making connections with the members. One of the things that I had done early on in my role as an area director is visit the clubs and introduce myself to them, get them to be familiar with me. And then shortly after that, I made the request to make an official visit so that I can then make recommendations early in their term as a club, what they should be addressing. So connecting so that they would know who to call on if they should ask, or they feel that they need assistance from the district or any of the leaders in the district.
Perfect. I'm loving connection. Connection is your first little pearl of wisdom, as Jean would say, that you're going to be taking away from tonight. Connection. Moving to you, Notes. What are the skills that you've developed over this year as an area director?
I would not repeat what Jen said, but I will build upon that and say I have learned to lead with a vision, with a plan, but with no agenda. And I can expand on that. While having a vision and a plan on how to get to my goals, being flexible and not having an agenda, or more precisely, not having a hidden agenda, gave me, I would say, the edge that I desired, the authority that I envisioned to, I don't know, project towards the clubs. Because a constant skill that I've tried to work in the past year was I don't know if you can call it a skill, but it's an effort for sure, of establishing credibility among the clubs. So presenting myself in a way that is aligned with the values, with the vision of Toastmasters, has been a constant effort that I've put for me when I paid the visits to the club. So all in all, I think there is a skill set that we have all developed. Obviously, to me, it's all in the area of leadership, learning how to, as I said, build trust, establish credibility, establish a vision, and pursue the people to follow that vision, or at least pay attention to that vision. As Jen said earlier, nailed it. It's an ongoing process. So we have not finished the task, the process, and here it is. The skill is beautifully polished. It is something that we are constantly working on.
100%. And I think this is something that we're all passionate about, is that continuation of leadership and growth. And I think it is like you've said, trust is so important when you are an area director, because some of the times these clubs might never have seen you before and you're there offering this support and advice. Trust is so important. Coming to Linda, what skills have you developed over the year that you were an area director?
Thank you for that question. I was the area director last year, and I would say one of the first things I did was meet all the presidents and their leadership teams and ask them 10 times if they had a success plan. So if they don't have a plan, they don't know where they're going. And I was relentless, in a nice way, on talking to them. What's your success plan? How are you going to roll it out? What are your expectations? And then supporting them on their expectations. I also kept really close to the presidents. So I was in Division East, and I knew several of them before I was the area director. And I just kept close to them. How are they doing? Where are they stuck? where can I help them, and really promoted myself as an extra person to think with, to plan with, and to, if they have issues, to share the issues. And I think my key skills were support. So I supported them. I nudged them. I reminded them. I coached them, and I refer to them as cats, big cats. So it's always like herding cats, moving them forward, moving them forward. And we were, it worked because we were a distinguished area last year.
I love that. I'm not a pet person, but but I understand it. And I think sometimes you have to lead to be able to get these clubs to become successful. So absolutely. So I hope our audience has been making notes, because these questions are gonna get deeper, because I want to really embrace the journeys you three have been on, so that really empowers people to go, I want a bit of that. I'm supportive. I can be an area director. So moving on to my second question, and this is, how did you build the skill? Now, how did you build the key relationships with your clubs and the club officers? So very similar to what we've just spoken about, but this is more of the how have you done it? So I'm going to go in reverse this time to mix it up. Linda, how did you build those key relationships with your clubs and the club officers?
I showed up at their meetings. So I actually didn't, often I didn't even tell them I was showing up. If it was the morning, I hate going to morning meetings, but if it was early in the morning and I went, this is a good day, I would just show up at their meeting and say hi and, you know, what's going on with you guys? And it was more casual. So it was relational. All of it is relational. So making sure if they had questions, any issues, and if not, just take a roll and hang out with the club. So it was really building that relationship and really that trust that's already been expressed here. You know, they have to trust you and know that you're there for to really help them and not like punish or any negative thing. It's all about support and help, and so that they can be successful.
100%. And I think sometimes, even though we wear the area director hat, we wear the division director hat, the district leader hat, we're still Toastmasters at the end of the day. And I think it's like you've said, Linda, if you've got that club that needs a timer, go and be their timer, because you build those connections. Go and be their grammarian and bring something different to their meetings. So I love that. You note, how did you build the key relationships with your clubs and the club officers?
Well, if we look at the meaning of the word relationship, it requires at least two people interacting, and that interaction is based on communication. So in my case, being limited, or as an area director, not being able to attend every single meeting, every single week, and etc., I said, okay, the next approach that I can have and the ability that I have is to actually send out communication to the entire officers in the area. So I did that for, I think, quite a few months. And then after a few months, after visiting them, doing the officer installation, I saw replies to my emails, and I started seeing officers getting back to me and say, hey, you know, I've been seeing your emails every single week. You're not giving up. You're still providing information, value, motivation for us. Therefore, I have a question. Can you help with this? Can you help with that? What's your opinion on this or on that? Or we have somebody that will leave the officer's position, so we have another person that fills in. We need her to have some connection around, etc. I think that was the entire process that I took the endeavor on in building the key relationships, as key as they are. I would not say they are the universal key, but they are key relationships, employing I would say consistent communication and consistent useful communication with the club officers.
100%, because I think we all get plenty of emails. We get plenty of emails saying, go here on your next holiday. And I think it is that you've got to be relentless to show that you care. Because I think if you just send one email and then you don't send another for another 6 months, people are going to go, who was that person? Whereas if you show that support and build those relationships, we're halfway there. So coming to Jan, how did you build the key relationships with your clubs?
The very first thing that I had done was to create a 45-second video that I emailed to everyone in the area just to introduce myself so that they would know who is this person that's going to be popping into their meetings. I live on Maui, and the fire happened on Maui in August. So shortly after I got installed as an area director, I felt that it was really important for us to communicate, to be in contact with everyone. Because when Lahaina was in conflagration, we were concerned how many of our members were affected there. And so it was really critical for us to be in communication, not just because we wanted to just communicate with them what's happening within the district, but for personal things. One of the things that I felt brought the area together closer between the officers and I is that I had a monthly area council meeting every first Monday of the month at 7 p.m. Whether they can make it, the president, the VPE, and the VPM were invited, and it was open to any other members in their clubs. And I also had some supporting team that would come in and give some educational things that they could take to the club for them to edify themselves with and to inform their members on. So communication was also used by recognizing those members who had achieved levels. Because I think that it's important for us to recognize the milestones that the members had reached. And so in our division, we have a newsletter that goes out every week. And so I would ask the presidents, do you have anything or anyone who would you like to highlight in this week's or in this month's division? It's an e-newsletter that we would broadcast. It comes out on Sunday morning. So as they're having coffee, they're reading through what's happening within the area and within the division. So communication was key, I think. Just keeping everybody informed and celebrating milestones that the members had achieved.
Wow, that was good. And I think it is something that we all forget about when we're focused on pathways, speeches, leadership. We are a big family at the end of the day. And Jan, you highlighted that perfectly with what you just said, making sure that the members were personally okay there. And I think it is you build those relationships, you build those friendships. And I think going back on, like, say, the achievement recognition, it takes 2 seconds. I don't know, it might not take a little bit longer than 2 seconds, but you get where I'm going, to send those emails to go, congratulations on achieving level 1, achieving level 2, because then that's building that empowerment to then inspire those members to go, I'll do the level 3. So absolutely, I loved that question. So question 3, I really want to try and spend a little bit of time with this one, because one of the things that I've heard over my year as a division director is, how do you manage time when you work and you do this role. So the question is, what would be your top tips for managing your time as an area director? So you might work part-time, you might work full-time, might have care responsibilities. What are your golden nuggets to empower future area directors to go, I fit in this box, but I can also do this? So I'm going to come back to Jan. What are your top tips for managing time?
I work full time. Fortunately, I don't have any kids or grandkids with me. I just have a husband, and he allows me time with Toastmasters. One of the things that I found for myself that worked is that I make sure that I visit the clubs that are in my area at least twice a month. I know that in the manual it says you're to go in twice a year or something like that. No, it was more often than that. And if I could afford to, I would visit every week just to make relationships and allow for the members to get to know me so that they would feel more comfortable emailing me if they had any issues at all. As far as that would be it, just making time, making myself available. Some of the leaders in the district had actually reminded me, don't be too available. And so that once a month, every Monday at 7 p.m., it's open for everybody to come and talk to me during the area council meeting. So that is one thing that has gotten us closer in our area, just having that one monthly meeting.
100%. And I think just allowing members, leaders of the clubs to know there's that safe space to go, how do I work pathways, is so important. So thank you for that, Jan. You know, what would your top tips be for managing time?
Well, as a full-time working professional, having a team of 10 managers and 180 people that work under me, and then as being a full-time parent as well, and having all sorts of other projects undergoing, obviously time management is of essence. So I would tell the prospective area directors, make sure you set some foundational understanding in time management. And then after you have those clear and you understand, for example, the four quadrants of time management, what's important, what's urgent, etc., you can go ahead and set some expectations, or better off, go to the district director that will name you as an area director and ask, what are the time expectations for me as the area director? In my case, I would say, looking over the last few months, maybe 3 hours a week. That's what it requires. And I would spend, I would say, 25% of that time with communication, emails, phone calls. Then 30 minutes to an hour I would spend on doing research, learning Toastmasters specific technical things that I know that I would be asked for advice and so on and so forth. Then also I would dedicate time to learning, again, on leadership, on any things that are important to me as an area director. And last but not least, I would stay engaged with the district. So again, when we say time management, we need to define, to clarify, how does that time management, how does my time commitment look like exactly? So on one side, you have communication and interaction with the club. On the other side, you have interaction with the content as you learn. And on the other side, you have interaction with the district. Because as an area director, the sooner you understand that you are like a bridge between the club on one side and the district on the other side, the better and the easier it is to do your job time effectively.
Perfect. And that is the type of answer that I really wanted, because I know so many people go, how do we work around time? Because we can't see it. Obviously, we can see it on a watch, but time is that biggest challenge to try and manage. So thank you for that answer. Linda, what would be your top tips for managing your time as an area director?
Well, I'm a consultant, so I work full-time depending on my client load, and no kids, so I get that part. Cats, I have 2 cats. Well, I'm really good at prioritizing things. So I'm used to bouncing around, starting, stopping projects. That doesn't particularly stress me out. I'm also equally active in the International Coaching Federation. So I have 2 big volunteer groups I work with. But I think I take an approach like taking the pulse. So does a group seem like they need help? Or am I not hearing from them? They're going to get more attention. Do the other groups keep saying, I'm good, then I'm not going to pop in and see them as much. I'm not going to reach out as much. I think at the beginning, the focus was really on, we had a couple clubs that really needed a lot of support. So the focus was on them mostly. And then it's really checking in with them if they needed help. It's like juggling. So, if my project, if a client thing is more important, I'm going to go there. If there's something going on with one of the clubs, I'm going to figure out how to go there too. I also think that it ebbs and flows. So around speech contest time, it's nuts. So it definitely takes way more time on everything. And again, we found the more organized we were, the better we were able to go through even that. So I think being organized, having a good team that you're working with is key to then being able to pick and choose when you need to jump in.
Absolutely. And I can 100% back up content and the contests of how extra time you need to be able to pull them off. So what we've got out of this question, we've got to define time management. Where are we prioritizing? And then the other key themes, prioritizing what's going on at work, what's going on at home, what's going on in the clubs as well, and being organized. I think that are the key themes that we've got out of this question here. And I think from my journey, organization had to be really high on the agenda there, because I think if you're working, because I work full time as well, you're doing that as well, you've got to be on it. And I think it's one of those things, there's plenty of apps to help you organize. There's a lot of other tools now available to help you if you're not as organized as we all might be. So that has been super helpful. So coming to question 4, I've got this one and then question 5, and then I'll open it to our audience for some questions. And these 2 are in a way focusing more on you as Toastmasters. So this question is, where have you grown the most in your area director journey? So that is, where have you grown the most in your area director journey? And I'm coming back to Jan.
One of the things that had mentioned earlier, what I had grown in the most is making sure that I am not imposing my goals to the club, learning to be patient with the growth that the club would like to grow in, or how fast they would like to get things done. That I have to constantly remind myself that I am just there to guide, not to lead, but just being patiently on the side. And so I found myself biting my tongue a lot because I would like for them to get things done yesterday, not tomorrow. I am just that kind of a person, which is the reason why I get on my report early so that they have time to actually stew on what do they need to do for the next 6 months. What do they need to achieve in the next 6 months? That is probably, which is against my nature, to patiently just wait on the side, smile, and not say anything that they will probably think as you are now dictating, or from my point of view, what we should be doing. So that is something that I had really learned this year.
Fabulous. And I think with this specific question, we are going to get some really unique answers because we're all on completely different journeys. We're all part of this amazing organization, but we're all learning different things. So you note, where have you grown the most on your area director journey?
Well, there are three particular areas where I have grew a lot in circumference, specifically circumference around my waist, because I needed to sit down a lot and listen to people. Then I grew around my head, because as I was listening, I was able to learn. And then also my heart grew a little bit bigger as well, because as I listened, as I understood, I got to appreciate and love and respect the people more. Because at the end of the day, I believe in the heart of hearts that every single club officer that has the minimal understanding of what it takes to make a Toastmasters club successful, they have the desire to see that club succeeding, because they understand they have been entrusted the responsibility from the members to lead them in the club. Therefore, they have a little bit of pressure on their shoulders. However, coming back on the areas that I specifically grew, understanding that each club is different. Even though we have the same mission, the same values, the people, the demographics of every club is a little bit different. The specifics to, the city where they meet, if they are by the sea, if they meet in the morning, if they meet during the weekends, all contribute to the culture of the club. And having the agility not to, as Jen said earlier, impose anything strictly, but let it up to them. That's an area where, again, I believe I grew and I'm still growing. Then also seeing the issues that they are facing, low membership, low educational achievements, has forced me as an area director to eventually generate new ideas that I would bounce to them, propose to them, suggest to them. Then also, I would say that last but not least, I am able to better and more clearly articulate and to paint a more beautiful picture of the future for a specific club. Seeing so many successful clubs in the past, looking through the dashboards throughout the years, understanding it. This is another aspect that I did. I went through the years. For example, a club has been established for 10 years. I went and I was curious, is the struggle only now, this year, or have they been struggling in the last 3-4 years? And then try to pull that information. So all in all, again, my waist is bigger, my head is bigger, and my heart is bigger as well.
I love that. I love that. I work from home quite a lot and I definitely can connect with that. And I think it is, your heart does grow on this journey because you get to hear those personal stories from members that you can relate to, or you're sharing people's achievements. It all makes you feel proud. It all makes you want to shout their successes to other members to go, did you know that this member's achieved this or they've achieved that? Because we always want to celebrate those successes. So coming to Linda, where have you grown the most on your area director journey?
I had a secret weapon. So I started a month after the area director's role. took place. And my secret weapon was Linda Robinson. So I do have to put her out there because she's the one that twisted my arm to do the area director role. And I said, if I do this, you're with me. So she was my support, listened to me complain, and really her and the trio were fabulous. And I think that's one of the most interesting parts of this role is all the people in leadership you get to meet. So I have a better sense of how the trio works, how the organization works as a whole, how the systems work in Toastmasters. And I think that turned out to be very valuable. The other thing is I'm a professional coach, so I do leadership development in corporations. And I'm constantly looking at the gestalt, the whole picture, how the organization is structured. So I could take some of that skills and knowledge I have and apply it to the area director role. But it was the secret weapon. I think that was key.
Fabulous. Team Linda to the rescue.
Mhm.
I love that. And I think it is like you've just said, Linda, all it takes is for a district leader, an area director, a division director to whisper the words, you would be really good as an area director. Plant those seeds, because this is what happened to me on my journey 2 years ago. I was in a Toastmasters club in District 36. I'd been a Toastmaster 18 months. The Toastmaster of the day was like, you'd be really good as an area director. I had no idea what an area director was, but I said yes, because I had that person go, you would be good. They'd given me that confidence to start that journey. And I think as individuals and as Toastmasters, if you see another member that you think would be amazing, give them that encouragement, give them that confidence to go, think about it now. It doesn't have to be this year. It doesn't even have to be the year after, when the time is ready, because half of the time that Toastmaster will remember that conversation because that helps them on the journey that they start. So my last question for tonight, and I'm coining Jean's pearls of wisdom. I was there writing these. I was like, I've got to have pearls of wisdom in this conversation. And I'm going to give you an example. Being an area director has helped me to achieve leading meetings at work. So something really simple. I want them short and simple, because I really want our audience, and when the recording goes out to the wider membership, for them to think, okay, being an area director can help me get a promotion. It can help me build my network. It can help me do this. So that's my example. So I'm going to come to Jan. Jan, being an area director has helped me to achieve.
It definitely has enhanced my listening skills. I listen better and intuitively and observe more. That's the short answer.
Beautiful. Because I think, yes, we're a communication organisation, but listening is half of the packet. We have to listen to be able to grow as individuals and to be able to support the clubs. You note, being an area director has helped me to achieve.
Up until this morning, I did not have the words to express the idea, but ever since this morning, I have the words to express the idea. So being an area director has helped me lead with the authority given by my authenticity. Being an area director gave me or helped me lead with the authority given by my authenticity. And authenticity being built upon character and integrity, because this is what leads to authority. And also, being an area director has helped me muster the courage to start a club. And I believe from a personal experience now that as an area director, the pinnacle of your area director experience is when you successfully start a new club. That is forever your legacy. Like the new connections that you make with the people that have no idea what is Toastmasters, and most of the people don't have any idea what Toastmasters is, and they come in, they sit down at a meeting, they see the value, they see how relevant is for them, and they say, here's my application, I would like to be a member of this club. I have done that recently, and I am blown away by the beautiful things happening in this new club that I had an idea to start back in December, and then we started meeting in January, and we charted last month. But yeah, that's my 2 cents.
And I think that just in itself is amazing, and hopefully shows current area directors and future area directors, including members, if you have that idea that you think can encourage another group of 20 people to have a part of what we have, go and sprinkle the gold dust and bring them in. Because I think in the 100 years that we're celebrating this year, the more people that can be a part of this journey, the better. Because I know we all want Toastmasters to be around in 100 years' time. So I absolutely 100% can agree with you want to leave that legacy. So moving to Linda, what would your pearls of wisdom be?
I have to unmute you first as I'm thinking.
Right.
I get asked all the time by leaders in the corporate setting, how do they develop leadership skills? And I always tell them, go lead a nonprofit. When you lead in a nonprofit, it's a totally different experience, and it's hard because no one has to follow your advice. Nobody has to do what you say, like in the corporate setting. So I always feel like that the people that have leadership roles in Toastmasters have a benefit because they've learned to lead people genuinely, authentically, as we've already been talking about, and they really develop really great skills and can then pivot into the corporate situations. So that's my short answer.
Fabulous. Well, I hope the audience has been there with their pen, writing these pearls of wisdom down, because I definitely think what you've just mentioned there, Linda, doing the voluntary work in the voluntary sector, a lot of employers, I don't know what they're like in the US, but in the UK, they jump at that because that is gold on a CV, because you've done something different, you've thought outside of the box, you've taken the risk, you've spent the time, you've encouraged people. So absolutely. So I hope this has been insightful and has empowered you guys that are thinking about area director this year to say yes, because I know the current leadership team will be more than happy to have a conversation with you to bring you in onto this journey. So we've now got around 15 minutes before we finish for questions. You can ask the questions to the group or to an individual. I will leave it up to you guys. Jane?
Well, it's not so much a question as an observation. First of all, thank you, Natalie, for leading this team and this panel. And what I found after listening to these fabulous folks is that we all started out the same way. We all started out as club members, not knowing even what an area director was, not knowing anything outside our clubs. And then somebody put that thought in our heads. And once it was there was someone there to help us. So I'd like to encourage people that are maybe on the fence or very hesitant and don't really know what to do. to know that they're not going to be doing this alone. Look at these fabulous people that come on here, giving of their time and their energy and just imparting all of their knowledge. And that's the way it's going to be in the whole year. So if you're even thinking about wanting to lead a team, be part of something bigger than yourself, I really encourage you to consider becoming an area director. I will be the district director. I'm the district director elect for next year. And so you would be having a lot of conversations with me, and it's not something that I would want to stop. If you become a district leader, I expect to have these conversations throughout the entire year. I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to it. And I hope you will do as Natalie suggests, which is raise your hand and just say yes. Back to you, Natalie.
Thank you, Jane. And it is completely like you've just said. Toastmasters that might have been Toastmasters 20, 30 years are still going to have questions. Toastmasters that are still quite early on the journey, like me, will have questions. It's having that confidence to ask those stupid questions, because I think half of the time you want to be able to learn, you want to be able to grow, and I think it's one of those scenarios you want to have that safe space. Just say that area director goes, how do you do this? Where do I find that? Because if they've never done this role before, you kind of want to hold their hand until they build that confidence. And once they've built their confidence, off they fly. And who knows, they might be a district director one day. So you never know. You never know. I think a lot of district directors started as club officers. They started as area directors. They worked the journey. There we go. Do we have any other questions? Now is your time. Jun?
Yes. Junaidi Jan, Junaidi or June. I was a area director, but 3 years ago, if I remember correctly. And I enjoyed being an area director. I learned a lot. And I also enjoy connecting with other clubs and meeting other people. I felt that I could have done better. Being an area director, the first time, I feel that, oh, maybe I should have done that. After my term was over. So I came here with the idea that I wanted to do it again. Yeah. Yeah, I learned a lot from you, and yeah. And if later on I work at not work, I I serve my area, I know where to go to, the four of you. Thank you.
Fabulous. And that is so empowering to hear that you've done the role before and you want to do it again, because I think I've served as an area director twice. Both of those years were completely different, because you kind of think life changes, people move on, the clubs still keep their history, they still keep their vibe, they still have the vision, but the situation and the journey is different. So that is really amazing that you want to say yes. Do we have any other questions?
I would just go on the last idea that June said earlier, that he knows where to go. And this is if you want, June, a preview of my speech that I'm delivering at Smedley Chapter 1 on Tuesday, where it is my deep belief that no Toastmasters should struggle. No Toastmaster should struggle. But on the opposite, all people involved in Toastmasters, as members, officers, clubs, leaders, should soar. Because there is so much support and so many support systems around. If I don't ask, then yes, I will struggle. And it's not going to be benefiting me in any way. I just, giving up my tears and stress, but there are a lot of people that are more than willing and experienced and able to help. So obviously, what's up with the balloons?
So I think that is a Zoom function that if you have your hand gestures to a certain way, Zoom wants to just do something weird. So that's what
how do I trigger the money? How do I trigger the money? Or is it something that I invite to come into I manifest? Okay, good. Thank you.
But it's literally what, like you've just mentioned there, something that we sometimes forget about is the power of mentorship. So level 2, that is across all 11 paths, that little level 2 speech, power of mentoring within Toastmasters. And I think it's like you've just said, stick your hand up and go, can you help? Or please, can you help? Or can you show me? Because 99.9% there'll be a Toastmaster that will say, I can help. I can support you. There you go. You're on your way. Do we have? Go for it, Jan.
I just wanted to write on that coattail there and add that I would not have been successful in my role as area director this year if not for the 5 mentors that I had recruited and who willingly helped me through. So constantly I'm in communication with them as to what I should do at certain issues that come up. They are willing to help me. And so for those of you who are thinking of becoming an area director, surround yourself with people that you can work with and maybe people that you cannot work with, but you respect the opinions and their experience. Recruit them as your mentors.
100%. I definitely think have your own little army. So when you have a moment where you're like, I don't know what to do, you've got that support network to go, this is how you do it. This is where you go. Absolutely spot on. So what I would definitely say, if you're interested on starting this journey, ask your club members, can you help? Because I think sometimes just having that peer support is so important, but also so empowering as well. So if we haven't got any final questions, I am going to come to Jane. Did you have any district announcements to make before we finish for today?
All I want to say is that this is a fabulous team. I am really impressed with the fact that this learning lab came together so quickly. It was an excellent suggestion to have an expo for our area directors, and this team made it happen. This is one of the examples of how things can come together when you have people that are motivated to work together and willing to collaborate. So I don't have any other news or information, but I did want to, again, congratulate everyone on this call this evening for taking the time and for considering being area directors. Thank you again.
Thank you, Jean. And absolutely, I think when you've got a vision and you've got the people, you can make it happen. Like you've just said, we've pulled this off within a week, which I think is epic. So I hope our audience has found this expo insightful, empowering. The district leaders are open for conversations. I know Jean has got the phone there, ready to take calls, ready to answer those questions. And I think unless you say yes, you don't want to miss out. Because I know, Jean, your favourite phrase is, what's your favourite phrase? Because I've forgotten it. Please share. 4 letters. It starts with an F. Fear
My
of
favorite.
out.
What is it?
Fear of missing out.
Oh,
Boom.
yes, right. Yes, we don't want any FOMO around here. We don't want any fear of missing out. That's correct.
Exactly. So say yes, because you don't want to miss out. And I think the area director journey, you learn so much about you as an individual as well. So it's been my pleasure to be your host this evening, and I would like to say a big thank you to our awesome 3 panelists for giving up your time to join the expo. It has been super rich, and I look forward to connecting with you all again.